Good morning, folks. It's 9:44 a.m. on 12th day, 7th month, 2023. I'm watching this beaming event going on over here over Russia and parts of China. And this big thing is China. China. And it's going to cause a lot of bad weather throughout Europe. And it's also going to, this beam is also going to back this up. And so it pretty much slams right in here through Myanmar and all that with the bad storms and terrible totals coming for them, and in parts of India here near the mountains. And earthquake risk for it here is a super duper high. Absolutely super duper high. You know, remember they had a Phuket, the tsunami one time? Well, these are the type conditions that bring it. The beams across New Zealand are pretty evident here. A big one shooting up here, a big one shooting off there, as they're working across the moisture here and pretty much just holding it in land here, kind of in an area over here. So what I'm choosing to do next is show you guys what's to be expected over the next few days, and then I'm going to show you what's going on with the infrared radars, so you can kind of see where the storms are tracking over New Zealand and Australia in certain parts, and then I'm gonna do whatever tickles my fancy. Good morning, Alan Brown. How you doing? I can see the occasional comment here on the bottom of my screen. Right, as it moves along way too slowly for me. Where's my keyboard? Okay, let me bring this along so I can hurry this stuff right on along. Hurry it right on along and get that weather right into people's heads. Oh, let me bring that back. Bring it back. Oh, now as the winter comes to New Zealand. It looks like you're coming in toward a Friday. You should be getting some dustings over there on the Westlands there in the South Island. And that's when that streamer of moisture is actually going to be impacting Tassie quite hard. And the winds will be rather fierce along that coastline there in front of the bastard of the strait over there. As the churn and bird brings in a few storms over there toward the Perth area as well, needing a drink by then. The trees are a bit parched. Right? And then the events are beginning as the flow comes through Bass Strait. And the pressures at that moment are going to be important to read. Where's the bubble up? She's right here in the middle, isn't it? Right? So as these squeeze about, in come the cold, down comes the moisture, in comes the fuckery. Add the chem bombs, add the EMF, and mercy sakes alive, we got a chem boys. We get a bunch of chem bombers in a row. It's a chemvoy. They got a great big chemvoy bombing through the night. Chem in the trails and chem, the con boys, really. The way they give you the con about the various excuses. Or somebody who's a pilot that says chemtrails ain't real is obviously paid to say that. Because to ignore my data is to be, by definition, ignorant or ignorant. You might as well put a hoodie on and hang out in the corner. Oh, Hamilton Monday. Wanna cam for thee. Bam. For all intents and purposes, if you have a high pressure like this, your stability should be a pretty low. And your instability should be quite high, as this is still kicking moisture around. You got two gears here, right? There'll be pinch points involved, cross flows, feedings going on, and the chem bombers are absolutely going to have to be very busy that day. And they'll need to put a big beam behind this and to sweep it over, and they will, as we head toward the 19th and the 20th. And I'm starting to get concerned now. Now we got all the dynamics now for a southern storm. This high pressure dominates over that as that moves. This will create a spinner over here. All the dynamics are already saying the doldrums in place here for the high, and the spinner's going to happen. And so I'm watching very carefully here for what's going to happen around the 23rd. Everything's right on schedule for my forecast to be able to say the following words. It's still accurate. All right, let's look at some of your 10-day totals in some places and get rid of some of these lines. Right, the biggest problems that I see in this area here. Tassie, where the middle fingers is. West Coast down here is going to have some terrible totals, and some of this is going to be snow. Terrible, terrible totals. And the 10s. Right? The new snows amounts, not so high in some of them spots, but you got the rain totals. So that's going to make a slushy, nasty, freaking mess. Right? Absolute mess. And some of your ones on the 10s on the axis is showing quite high over here for the Penis Insula. Over here, the old kiwi nose here is looking good again. And to me, that looks like an ant with a tennis with a mandible. What we got? Caramilla. The Gomez. Do they have an Adams Family house there at Caramilla? I don't know. And we can call it Caramella. And it's a sweeter sounding name. You know, I hereby vote for Caramella for all. Let them have Caramella instead of Camamella. Boy, did you get chem bombed. I'll get to that. My gosh, you got so much chem up there, it looks like they're having a sale. And who's for sale? You are. You're for sale. And as I look up here to the far north corridor of inevitable inundations, still right on schedule here. Heaviest totals right in that mountain range. You're going to swallow those trees, going to kill those trees. And it looks like a little bit's going to be headed here toward Malay. Vanilla. And Millie Vanilli over here is going to have some wetnesses. Yeah, and Tollier is going to have a lot. And all this whole valley over here is not going to be valley happy when the river runs through it. Whole heads. It just kind of look like spurs. You see the crest and the beak. Either wing. Guess a bird's world hanging. Look like you got a bit of a problem heading over here toward the Bruce and the 10s too. As they cook that storm up off coast, expect these totals to rise over the next 3 days as total picture of what's going to happen at about, how many days now? About 11 or 12 days from now it's going to come into view. Into here. That is not Vietnam. Vietnam. Hey, how you doing there, Suva Bay? On the 10s. Everybody says you're fucked. Somebody says it's more. Hey, you're getting into the mustards there, and the ketchups, in the mayonnaise mix there. Oh my God, that's what you're talking. 25. Do boom boom boom. 25. Boom 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 boom. And all through this tendril, there's big pockets of heavies. Here's a heavy. Heavies, man. Going to be worked right through the channels of these Solomon Islands, right in toward Queensland, on command. There's your tendrils. All right. Big problems, little China, Thailand. You are absolutely Phuketed. With half a meter of water scheduled on the 10s. Yeah, little bits on the 5s, a lot on the 10s. Fubario, get prepario for Cambambio. Cambodia! Woo-ha! It'll be Cambodia! What you gonna do about this, punks? We better get off our asses. I ain't want nobody's picking veal over here. Look, veal fang. You can have some veal and fang, cambam fangs. Look at this shit. Look at these totals. Look at these totals in the mountains. These rivers. Going towards this lake of Osoama. Holy shit's gonna be the Oswampa. My gosh, are they gonna crap it? Oh, here at King Kong over here, Kokong. They came and took away our sunny skies. I wonder what it was looking like up there. Should we have a peek? Should we just go have a peek? All I can see of you guys is way up here. Way up here, we'll have a little bit of a peek. Over here in Cambodia. The Kembang streaming over, they say, fuck it to forget. Have a nice holiday. Have a nice Kembang sandwich. This one's flowing that way, while everything's going that way. Well, the blast is going that way. You being EMF'd. You're being motherfucking effed. Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam. They're chemically attacking you people on the old Siam Peninsula, where the king and I is just saying I and I, all for I. It's not oneness. To be a minus, M-I-M-Y-N-E-S-S. A minus is not oneness. It takes. And all these chem bombs streaming over Cambodia, all these islands over here. They've had their full moon fest. Now have a full chem festival here. This one's going that way and that way. That one's going that way. These are chem bombs. This is poison. This is wrong, 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 wrong. For these poor folks that are scheduled to have over a half a meter of rain hit them in short order on the fives after the fives. Yeah, 5 after fives. What a fucking shame. You want to see another fucking shame? Look at this shit over here by Melbourne. You want to talk about dirty Sanchez dragging himself like a dog across the carpet, but the carpet was the sky. And who gets to clean it? You are. Look at the microwave signature here to this. See the square? See the chem bombs? See the waveform going across? Look. Bzzz, 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 boom, boom, boom. Plum, 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 plumbing you. Chem bomb Greta is a fucking liar. Doesn't talk about the chemtrails 'cause she's fucking paid. Come on over there, hanging out with that pervert over there in fucking the Ukraine. Give me a break. Bomb, 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 bomb. The big why? Because we let them. Is why. Down tolls, down payments. Say no more, no more. I'm not the system's whore. No more, no more. I am not the system's whore. Which pimp you going to elect to the White House? Which one you going to put in Parliament? You see that circle thing with the cross? That is not a Holy Eucharist. That is not the heavenly host. That is the host of death. That is the angel of death coming to visit you, and you have been warned. Getting on and on with this creeping death. Creeping death. This is the creeping death. This is every day, up your nose, all the time, through your clothes, into your laundry hanging on the line, in your organic garden, depurifying your fucking supposed pure blood. If that's not a Nazi saying, nothing is. See the 7 in the skies? These are not normal. This is, well, normal is average, and it seems normal is all the time. This is not a naturally occurring Mother Nature, I love you cloud. These are chem bombs over an ocean. As I zip my way over to that frying of the microwave of the people. You guys need an ionia in your pocket to bring the frequency of your molecules in your body down to the 783. Beautiful Mother Earth Universe Sun. Look at this smiley face. They're so fucking happy to chem bomb you. So fucking happy. I am not happy to show this. See? Boom! An explosion. How about that one? Right over here in the cooking tin of the Straits over here. It's hard to get everything on screen. See the bomb field here? Watch, I'll go back in time. Going back in time. They bombed the ferry path. You see, it's right over there. Right over the top. And I was there at 3:30 a.m. my time. Boom! Shaped charges, diamond formation, dots in the center. Deploying. Right here, center point. That could be the upper level platform floating in the atmosphere just in its place. Boom, pointing right at the same spot again, another deployment comes out with tendrils pointing toward it. Again, it goes out. The shockwave. Boom! Another one. Like it shoots a shell off. Boom, 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 and then the deployment's going on. Another 2 deaths thrown out. Those are stars out there. That's what those explosives are called. Each one could have a different kind of X's and O's. They're tic-tac-toe in your sky for fucking real. Right there. In front of your eyes. Boom! Again, the same type of employment that was done at 3:30 a.m. was done at 5:30 a.m. 2 hours later, they did it again. Did it again. Harder, harder. Breathe it again. Breathe it again. Is it getting harder, harder? To breathe. I can't breathe. It ain't just about George Floyd's fucking breath anymore. This is all life on my planet. You don't want to treat this planet like it's your own, like it's a garbage can? That's your business. This is my planet, and I give a fuck. Do you? Do you give a fuck a 20 and a fuck a 20? Or can't you open your eyes and see that this is not a naturally occurring cloud formation right here? Look at it. Look at it. See it? You can't get no more obvious. These bombs blowing up over here over Auckland. It's harder to see. Let me zoom back. And good evening, everybody. And for the few of you that have helped towards new equipment, so I can step streaming like this, thank you very much. Every little bit is counting. Don't you think a fiver don't matter. You see that V shape in the haze here in the plasmas? It's been blown out by a radar station. It's so easy to read the beams from the weather, but yet you can't read their forecast to show anything. Right? Nothing. So I'm going to go now. I'll do a zoom back. Try to refocus. You poor folks up here. It's absolutely heartbreaking. I'm going to do now what's happening. All right, now. Weather radar, satellite. Whammos. Wham, bam, 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 bam. You can even see how frying they're getting there, right? Here's the last 2 hours. As then storms came over, and you got more coming in as they're working this across. They're starting to let the flow come through the strait now, which is good, right? Because it's not so good for you guys over here, because that's going to feed the flow of all this stuff that's coming your way. You can see it's hooking up. It's just going to ride the edge of where that line is, and that's where the beam line is. And so the storms will react around that. It'll hit that barrier and converge there. Over the next 24, really. It's mostly just the fjord lands getting some action. Some isolated showers definitely going to be popping through here as the beams oscillate and collide the particles together of all that chem and shit. It's like over the top. They say it's going to be like this. Little bits all day long. Flurry and cold. Yeah, hot cocoa weather. It's hot cocoa weather. And you should enjoy your hot cocoa, because if you don't enjoy your hot cocoa, no one else will, because it'll just get unmade and it'll get cold. Hey, you like hot cocoa with some marshmallows in it on a cold day? Come on. What's wrong with you? Who wouldn't like that? I don't like it. Well, someone out there is going to carry our enjoyment of something, but you know what? I do enjoy that. Yeah, there's a lot of wetness just coming there, Westport and all that. And that's just the next 24 hours, right? It's now into Friday. And so I'm going to zoom back over the ice now, because you're going to have some wetness about that time happening over here and in their far north. Boy, I got a lot to keep up with, don't I? So I'm going to start you back at the beginning over here. Moving. Wetness for Perth and Albany. Coming here in about 12 hours. Calgary. I just love to say that name. Over here in Condom Gulp. Condom Gulp. Condom Gulp. Why would they call our town that name? Because I have a fucking sense of humor. And while I also read English as it should. You have to know that. Your local pronunciation might be Buford Beaufort. Who knows? But all I know is a Burmese over here is blurred its letters together. It looks like an M to me. Hey, so if I say Bernie or Burmese, or YOLO, man, where you only live once. YOLO, man. You only live life assy. Okay, Mount Myrtle. Does Myrtle know about this? That might not be too good for her. As the continuation of really where most of the wet's going to go on. I should show Melbourne, too, because you're going to be having a big batch come through. The batchsters are going to spray you, so you have a nice big batch, and there's going to be an EMF beam's going to shoot up. It's going to work this way straight all along, just sweep it right across the country there. The country's not ruled by kings, and it's going. It hits the trough, nucleates in the cold, and all they got to do is cam down. It's happy days for you, happy days for you. As he zips on back now to the beginning, to the far north. Oh, yeah, I ain't left you guys out of it. You guys got some showers coming, and finally got something to talk about here. Townsville corridors, fuck. They must want something. They want some freedom to trash the roads and put some smart tech in them. Yeah. They ought to have a bunch of fire extinguishers the way those electric cars are going. My gosh. The Tesla Firestarter is a fire starter. Come on, how much sense does it make? You have to use fossil fuels to make the electricity for an electric car, and you got to rip up the earth. You have 10 times more chemicals. You're shipping them all over the places using fossil fuels so that you can virtue signal that you're saving the world. You want to save the world or the environment? Hey, plant trees. Right, plant some freaking trees. They could control the air very well. They could get rid of carbon dioxide from us and use it and release oxygen back to us. I think that's a very symbiotic. We should all go out there and go, hi, to a tree, every day and tell it why we love it because of what it does for us. And it will regulate the water cycle for its own self, believe me, by its exhalations and its moisture levels. Because trees love it moist. When you get too wet, it rots the roots, man. You gotta keep it moist. So as you see, you've got quite a days of many it's just tropical weather, right? But if it wasn't for the chem bombs and the fucking just endless assault upon you guys up here on the low deck, that's very low down. First thing I see is a square farm to the clouds here off the coast. That's not normal. It's very scalar looking. Actually, like the scalar waveforms. Could Townsville be blasting, playing with the scalar weaponry? Fucking absolutely. I see the signature all in the sky. When they're not shooting missiles down with their Jorn system, you're busy frying up your weather with it. That's exactly who's doing it. It's right here at Townsville. Yeah, could have called that out. And it's frying my reef, causing infrasonic undulations in the water that will disrupt the navigation and communications of the sonic animals that communicate that way in the water. Like a bat does this clicking to get its way around and navigate. Well, there's things in the ocean that do the same thing. And how are we treating them when we're frying them? That was a hell of a sweep. It swept out to sea. So that drove the moisture up. My God, you see the wave come up and sweep it? And that's not done yet. Interference pattern intersecting here. If you had an earthquake over here, I wouldn't be surprised. Won't be surprised at all. Because all the dynamics there are absolutely rattling the earth. Absolutely rattling the bones of the people there as ears are ringing, who can't sleep. They feel irritated, no energy. Heart rate is just out the freaking charts. That's why I said you need an Ioni in your pocket. And I'll start popping a link where you could get this device and just keep it on you. You're walking around a bunch of 5G cities, got all your molecules vibrating so hard and erratically, you have to rein it in yourself. You must control your vibration, if you will, like a remote control in your pocket to bring things in. If that don't look like a fucking demonic cloud, fucking nothing does. With all sorts of sickness mix flowing out of it, flowing toward Tassie, flowing into the sea, flowing into the whales, and flowing into the dolphins and the sea turtles. And all they want to do is just be. Humane beings being. And if we can't be humanes being humane, why the fuck are we here? We're just a bunch of homos, sapiens, being inhumane, parasitic by nature. It's just fucking wrong. I'm trying to load my worldview, see if we can get something. I'm going to turn a few things off now. I get so wound up about it. Let's go right into the biggest freaking censor of them all on New Zealand, who you couldn't even watch a video because they made such a bad attempt at villainizing Muslims in a mosque. It was wrong-colored carpets and everything. You weren't allowed to show their mistakes. Here we go. Chem bombs off your coast. See them? Look at the crease crest. How many directions of the wind here? That's a firework deployment. How much more proof do you need in your eyes? Or if you'll just never admit it, just step out of the way of the people that want to make you healthy, so we can get on with getting the laws changed so that this is never allowed to happen and we never have to pay for it. And that corporate guy pays for his damage he's done. Ooh, look who's off your coast. My God, you poor folks. And all that's in the wind, all that's falling out, and all that's probably at the basis of a lot of people's sneezings. It was beautiful when you see the coast like this. Well, you know the runoff from these rivers is toxic with 1080 and toxic with fucking shit you put on the land, and all that's going in the fish, and you're eating it, it's going in you. At what point are you going to realize that what comes down was from what went up? You know? It ain't always about what's going on. It's about this. This island here where whales have been known to beach and getting absolutely poisoned. Look at the shadow color of that versus that one. It's blocking a different wavelengths of light. It's a different chemical in that. That's just how that fucking works. Frying you here, there. Look at the waveform going over. The Ripley bits. Squares fucking everywhere, turning up. I'm starting to get upset. Well, who wouldn't be upset seeing this? Watching the poisoning of the reef. Watching all their animals getting herpes and stuff, which they never should have, for our excretions. Our excretions from a pharma, military, industrial complex that's industry is death, not life. There are no curing wards on hospitals, just endless treatments. And there's laws that say you're not allowed to even say you could research cancer unless the government agency says so. Look into the Cancer Acts of the 1930s and early 1940s, depending upon what country you're in, and you'll see them spouting a fact. And the fact of the matter is, we are all in this family picture right here. Every one of us. Where is the blue? This is a white planet. We have no blue left. It's gone. Everywhere has been toxified. Everywhere. There's not a spot left on this planet that hasn't had its sunlight blocked. This is beyond wrong. This is ecocide. This is an extinction level event. The earth will be fine. But all the life forms we know will not. You got big jobs to do, people. Suck it up, buttercups. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Big love. Peace.